Hey, what is going on, everyone? Who wants to learn about the Show Me State, Missouri? Missouri is a state in the Midwestern section of the United States known as the Show Me State. Missouri is, or was, home of many famous Americans, both past and present. President Truman was from Independence, Missouri. Mark Twain was born in a little town called Florida, Missouri. Walt Disney lived in Kansas City. Chuck Berry is from Missouri. And Nellie grew up in St. Louis. Not that Nellie, this Nellie. It's right here, in case you don't know. Missouri's in the middle of America. It's a flyover state. It's such a flyover state, other flyover states would like to fly over it. Missouri has two major cities, St. Louis and Kansas City. Their only two major cities are shared with another state. It's like nobody trusts Missouri to have a big city on their own. It's like they're bad babysitters or something like that. But then again, if you ever visit St. Louis or Kansas City, you might think nobody's watching it already. The Show Me State is ranked 21st in size and 18th in population. Missouri was admitted into the Union on August 10th, 1821. If you're thinking about heading west, well, I guess heading east also. Actually north, and you can be heading north, south, east, or west. It's pretty much in the center of the country. Anyway, if you're thinking about relocating to Missouri, you should probably watch my top 10 reasons not to move to Missouri. Number 10, cost of living. The cost of living in Missouri is pretty average in comparison to the rest of the country, but when you compare it to its surrounding states, it's on the higher end. While you could save a chunk of change when it comes to things like housing, you'll be spending more in other ways, including utilities, transportation, and groceries, which are all a little above the national average. Number 9, no beaches. Missouri's in the Midwest, and it's a totally landlocked state, meaning they have no ocean or beaches. Residents will argue the state has a longer shoreline than California because of all the lakes. However, there's various ways to measure shoreline, and you'll get a different answer each time. Now, this one always cracks me up. It's like they're trying to make themselves feel better about where they live. Sure, Missouri sucks, but we have more beaches than California. This is like some dude saying, sure, we lost the basketball game 98-12, but we were the only team man enough to wear a purple, green, and red accented uniform. Number 8, education. The public school system in Missouri is bad and doesn't seem to be getting any better. The state ranks 32nd out of 50 states with education overall. Only about 37% of high school students score high enough to get into a 4-year college. My son once asked me if college was fun. I told him absolutely it's fun. You drink every weekend, you have all the sex you can handle. Then he looks at me and goes, wait, didn't you get your degree online? I said, yes. What I told you was true though. In my case, I was alone for all those things. Number 7, a lot of head scratching. If you move to Missouri, you will spend a strange amount of time texting your friends 3 letters back home, WTF. The first reason is the pronunciation. Is it Missouri or is it Missouri? The residents say it differently. It changes depending on who you talk to and sometimes which day you talk to them. I know a guy that switches back and forth daily and sometimes in the middle of a conversation. The other thing is Branson. Now, Branson is an entertainment town, whatever, and it's strange how the residents try and convince you how cool Branson is. I've been to Branson. It's not cool. They say it's the live music capital of the world. That's easy to do when you're really not booking anyone worth seeing. The city books acts that are big, let's say, to the retirement crowd. And they're normally acts that probably should have seen that final curtain 15 or 20 years ago. I'm sure if the Flock of Seagulls ever switched to country or bluegrass, they might play Branson. Stay out of Branson. Unless, of course, you're, retired and you don't feel like going to Vegas. Number 6, turkeys. Missouri is the number 1 state for turkeys. In 2016, 11 million turkeys were slaughtered. That's 2 turkeys for every resident. I'm not sure if I want to live in a state where they're killing turkeys by the millions. If you're a vegan, keep this one in mind. You're moving to a state where turkey lives don't matter. Number 5, oak mites. Oak mites are the worst kind of bug out there. Mosquitoes, at least, are courteous enough to be big so you could see them and try and avoid them. Oak mites, on the other hand, are microscopic and fall from oak trees at a rate of about 300,000 per day, leaving you with itchy red bumps that spread throughout your body when you itch them. Just spreads. That is right. If you decide to take a book, a blanket, a bottle of wine, and your best hipster outfit and go read underneath a nice tree, bugs will burrow into your flesh and you will have red bumps. Like that time that you tried to give yourself a home bikini wax with Elmer's glue. Not that I would know anything about that. Friend told me all about it. Moving on. Number 4, crime rate. 2017 was a bad year for Missouri in terms of crime. Violent crime rate was almost 31% higher than the national average, property crime was about 15% higher than the national average, and there were a total of around 200,000 criminal incidents within the state. Now, what's scary about that, all that crime, or 99.5% of it, happened all within an area that accounts for about 20% of the state, Kansas City and St. Louis. Now, the good news is 2018 is looking better for the state as a whole as far as crime, so maybe at the end of the year, they can redeem themselves a little bit. Number 3, the Kansas City earnings tax. Once you come to grips with the fact that Kansas City is actually in Missouri, you can get to thinking WTF as you learn about the earnings tax. Residents of Kansas City have to pay an additional 1% tax on gross income in addition to all your state taxes and federal taxes and gas taxes and all that nonsense. They stick it to you in Missouri, and especially Kansas City. Number 2, healthcare. Healthcare in Missouri is terrible. The state has not expanded Medicaid under the Affordable Care Act, leaving thousands of residents uninsured. Non-disabled adults without children are not eligible for Medicaid regardless of how low their income is. If the state does expand like most other states have, almost 300,000 residents would be newly eligible for health coverage. And they still say no. It's really weird. I don't understand it. And number 1, natural disasters. The Show Me State isn't terribly exciting until you start talking about natural disasters. Tornadoes, flooding, ice storms, Kenny G concerts, and severe storms are very common in Missouri. Residents see at least 2 per year. Hopefully it's not 2 Kenny G concerts per year. Before moving here, you should really read up on the subject. Trust me, you don't want to get caught off guard by an ice storm 3 weeks after moving to Missouri from Arizona. You also don't want to wander into a Kenny G concert. His music works like roofies on men. Oh my god. Flutes, wind chimes. Horrible. Alright, so that's my top 10 reasons not to move to Missouri. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Don't forget all those buttons down below. Hit the like, leave me a comment, tell me what you thought. If you haven't subscribed, please do so. Everybody have a great day. Be nice to each other.